right in the shadow of downtown Tyler, Texas. Right next to where I made a bird feeder out of a cheap bottle of vodka is the historic Oakwood Cemetery. So we're gonna go in here and we're gonna explore this place and show some graves. Come with me. So this here is the Herndon family grave. It's a pretty wealthy, prominent Texas family buried here. And this here is the grave of U.S. Congressman Captain William Herndon. He was born in Rome, Georgia, and moved to Texas here in 1852. He graduated Mackenzie College in 1859, studied law, became an attorney here in Tyler in 1860. And then later on, he joined the Confederate Army here and fought in the Civil War from 1861 to 1865. After that, he was elected in 1870 to the Democratic side of the House of Representatives. He served 2 terms. Later moved on to New Mexico, became very wealthy in railroad construction. Little bit of history for you right there. So this is the only crypt here in Oakwood Cemetery. Here are interred Nancy Othelius Reynolds Parrish and her husband Daniel Webster Parrish. Mr. Parrish died in 1902, and his wife, she went on to live another 52 years, dying in 1954. They had no children, and when Mrs. Parrish died, she left a whole bunch of money to the West Irwin Christian Church, which they then took the money and they built 3 churches here in Tyler, Texas. "'Tis hard to break the lender card when love has bound the heart. 'Tis hard, so hard to speak the words, we must forever part. Dearest loved one, we must by thee in the peaceful graves embrace, but thy memory will be cherished till we see thy heavenly face." This is the grave of Frank H. Emerson, born December 14th, 1858, killed on engine 171, September 7th, 1900, aged 41 years, 9 months, and 7 days. And next to him is his wife, Ella Kuntz Emerson, from Bath, New York. She was a good woman. If you look to your left, upper top screen, you'll see the police, the Tyler police, kind of just sitting there. No matter what you do or don't do, you could be the most upstanding, law-abiding citizen, but when there's a police officer just hanging around, it always gives you an uneasy feeling. Just my personal opinion. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but kind of wish this guy would leave. Oh well. So we have a very distinctive above ground grave made out of brick. I don't recall ever seeing one made such as this. This is basically the grave of the unknown soldier. There is no name. There is no date of birth nor death. Nobody knows who this man was. All that's here is just as a CSA marker. You could imagine that the CSA could stand for Confederate Soldiers of America. I am not sure. I'm just simply guessing. If you guys want to go look it up, and please leave a comment below of what CSA means, I would appreciate it. Who was this man? What was his story? What did he like to do for fun? What was his favorite food? Questions like that I often just ask myself. So the world will never know who this man was. So this here is a statue that was raised in memory of the Confederate soldiers who fought in Smith County, which is here in Tyler, Texas. It took 10 years to raise the funds for this statue, which was made in Italy at a cost of around $2,500. And good or bad, it is a part of our history, and it should be acknowledged and almost cherished, if you will, even though it was a rather dark time in our nation's history. It was still nevertheless a time that should always be taught and never should be forgotten. So this here is Richard Bennett Hubbard. He is a former governor of the great state of Texas right here. He also fought in the Civil War on the Confederate side. And he was instrumental in building or helping to facilitate the building of railroads here in Texas. A little fun fact, he was called the largest governor ever in the history of Texas. He weighed upwards of 400 pounds. And he was known for two things: being very, very large and being very, very loud when he spoke. Governor Hubbard, everybody. Colonel Willis Roberts' wife Elizabeth Jones' family and 100 slaves came to Tyler from Cobb County, Georgia in 1859 prior to the Civil War. He had served as U.S. Senator from his Georgia district. One of their daughters married Elijah. I wonder, and again, I know it's a part of our history, but to have on your stone that you own slaves, I mean, it really just tarnishes your family's name, and it should be nothing to be proud of. As a matter of fact, if I were buried here, I wouldn't want any mentioning of me owning slaves. But then again, it was a different time and a different age. But to enslave a person based upon the color of their skin, to me, is quite disgusting and is a true travesty that will forever stain our country. But to each their own. A Christian, you never wore if you owned and subjugated a man and a woman to do whatever it is that you wanted them to do. It's quite foul in my personal opinion. Okay, so that concludes the video. It's starting to rain a little bit, so I got to get out of here. But before I go, again, I want to thank you guys for watching my video. And if anybody wants me to mail them a couple pamphlets, there were some informational pamphlets over there that talks about some of the historical aspects of this cemetery. 5 people, if you send me a message to my Instagram, Lamont at Large, with your address, I'll mail you a couple of the pamphlets that I picked up. So 5 people, I got enough for 5 people. Hit me up on my Instagram, Lamont at Large, all one word, and I'll go ahead and mail you the pamphlets if you'd like. Anyways, not gonna get too much more wet. I got to get out of here because it's now starting to come down a little bit. Anyways, I'm Lamont at Large. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I'll catch up with you on the next video. Peace out.